earth given into the hands of the wicked. So as soon as someone, become with their what's that term they're saying now, that they're woke, or they begin to have sentiments for their people, boy, they'll snatch the rug right from under them, right? And they got people amongst our people. When you look in this particular study about the quote unquote, now I'm gonna say the Israelites, okay, the people of God, they say the Negro, they said that this is this book is called the American Dilemma, right? So they're saying this is a dilemma here. So it says he is defined as a race man, regardless of the role he might wish to choose for himself. He cannot publicly argue about collective bargaining generally in America. The need of a national budgetary reform, monetary scheme for world organization, moral philosophies, and aesthetic principle. Even if originally he should have had the interest and aptitudes for wider knowledge and a broader career, the pressure of this expectancy on the part of society conditions his personality and forces him. It forces him willy-nilly into the role of a Negro champion. This expectancy is entrenched in all institutions in America's society, including universities, learned societies, and foundations. It animates even the staunchest friends and protectors of the Negro minorities, often indeed for the reason that the Negroes sorely need their leadership. The same expectancy of their leaders is shared by the Negro people, the Negro leader, they say. Sensing that his own people need him and conscious that his racial origins offer him an easy opportunity for a role in life, thus acquires his characteristic direction. Even women in modern times do not have their souls so pressed into one single narrow furrow of human interest by the tyrannic expectancy of society. Although the woman's lot in this, as in many other respects, offers the nearest analogy, the Negro genius is imprisoned in the Negro problem, they say. There is throughout the entire history of the United States no single example of an exception to this rule, important enough to be cited. The difference in this respect between what? The Negro and other racial minorities, like what? The Jews, are you seeing this? It said here, the Khazars are also of the Edomite stock, and both stocks make up the present day Jews, it says. So when we see all the billions, and so what we see now is people, who's for, what do you call that? Patriotism, for country first. They're saying now in part 2, I showed you how the former president before Biden, he said, we need to get back to the Bible, having the Bible in our home. And dear family, are you seeing this? So, it's so much happening. We have to, again, go to the books, and the Bible already, the holy prophets foreseen all this. Enoch seen this. Abraham seen it. Now we're actually living in it right now. And as we're living and going through, it's what the Bible calls Jacob trouble, but he shall be saved from it, right? What we see happening here, so most unbelievable. But again, the scripture told us, right, in 1 Corinthians 14, that we were to do what? That we were to prophesy. A Jewish economist is not expected to be a specialist, or being a specialist on Jewish labor. A Jewish sociologist is not assumed to confine himself always to studying the ghetto. A Jewish singer is not doomed eternally to perform Jewish folk songs. A Jew is not out of place either as a governor of a state or as a planner of the world reconstruction. The Jew is discriminated against in America. When we just showed in the video how they're funding all the stuff in America, how they're in the political halls, the hallways of Washington, D.C., they're in all of the stuff, the Silicon Valley, all of it. Hollywood, right? Wall Street. So this is what we're seeing. Spreading themselves like the green bay leaf. But there is a quantitative difference between this and the discrimination against the Negro, which is so great that it becomes qualitative. On the intellectual level, which we are now discussing, the fettering of the Negro spirit within the Negro problem is not accomplished so much by simple discrimination as by the prejudice inherent even in the most friendly but restrictive expectancy, including the expectancy of they say the Negro people, of the Israelite, the Judite people, the real Brews. So far, we have been commenting on the fate of those rare persons with extraordinary talents who, if any, should have both the intellectual strength and opportunities to break out of the prison of the Negro problem. To the ordinary members of the Negro upper and middle class, even the window shutters of the prison are closed. It will be the theme of following chapters to show in some details how Negro preachers, teachers, professionals, and businessmen have had to build their whole economic and social existence on the basis of the segregation of their people in response to the dictates of the white society. To state the situation bluntly, these upper class Negroes, they say, are left free to earn their living and their reputation in the backwater of discrimination, but they are not free to go into the main current of the river itself. They should stay in your place. On the one hand, they are kept fully aware of the wider range of opportunities from which they are excluded by segregation and discrimination. On the other hand, they know equally well how they are sheltered by the monopoly left to them in their little world apart. So the handlers would see it, the people who knew who these people were, said, we can just get a few people. You heard of the saying, crabs out of a bucket? So we can go get a few people here who would, play to our tune. And that'll give us access to the stock of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And their whole outlook on life and society, they are forced into an impossible and tragic dilemma. So that's what I wanted to show right there, right?